Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Abney backing up. He'll get to return this one from his own 20. Circles off to the right, gets a block, cuts it up at the 25, 30, 35, 40. Licks out to the near sideline at the 50, breaks the tackle. Just one man to beat. He's across the 30 to the 20. Derek Abney to the 10 to the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Kentucky! And the Wildcats take the lead.
Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat, 6'4" parlor. I wish I was like 6'9", so I could get with Yoshi, cause she don't know me, but Yoshi's really fine. You know,
we're back with the Weekend Sports Buzz. Check us out on 1450sportsbuzz.com and KentuckySports.co. Good stuff going on there. And, of course, getting right into the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Derek Abney's on the line. How are you doing today, my man?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me. I first got to apologize about yesterday. I'm really sorry about missing the call.
It happens. If I'm correct, I'm going to have to just put it out there. You might have locked yourself out of your house.
I did just that. I was telling Matt that, unfortunately, I missed your call, but I was out there about a half hour, 2 hours sitting in a lawn chair in my driveway. It was actually kind of peaceful, unplugged a little bit. So.
There you go. Get away from the technology world. That's it's all it is here. Danielle, we've just myself, Tyler Boyd, we got Kelly Patrick, Danielle Chilton here. I'm pretty sure Danielle was a huge fan of you back in your prime.
I definitely was. Definitely was. You were my high school crush. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm over here.
Well, I feel honored, Danielle. Thank you very much.
There you go. I remember we had you on down last year when we were doing our basement radio show, and I actually didn't get to be involved in that because I was actually throwing up in the bathroom. I was a little disappointed about that. So I'm excited to have you on, Derek.
A lot of good stories in this interview so far.
Yeah, we put it out there on the 1450 Sports Buzz. Obviously, Derek, you hold 5 NCAA records. You have 9 school records, 10 of those kick returns. We led in with I believe that was the punt return against Mississippi State where you set the record. Am I correct?
That's right. That was at home. That was my last touchdown and probably my favorite.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, how did that feel? I mean, obviously you heard the Leach going crazy. Well, I mean, how did it feel for your mind?
Well, first it was, these plays obviously go really fast, and you really don't have a lot of time to take it all in. But for some reason, this one was a long play to me as I'm going through it, and I remember feeling the energy of the fans, but also as I got closer to that end zone, kind of thinking in my head, analyzing what I wanted to do. And then I had, I had Hopewell there and Irvin Flowers, and I was just like, man, we're just going to go in together. So I just remember thinking, hey, if I got a guy between me and the defender, I'm just going to follow him. So that's kind of the thought process that went through my mind real quick, and I knew at that point if I had both of us going in, we were going to make it into the end zone.
Derek, this is Kelly. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Kelly.
Good deal. Yeah, I agree. Watching it from at home on my couch, not just that time, but I mean it was amazing how you would just kind of pause, you just sprint around, and you said that one took an extra long time in your mind and in your memories. But just watching you out there was just amazing. I loved it. One of the things.
You.
Oh, you're welcome.
He's a U of L fan. Derek.
Lots of praise here for you. Danielle's childhood crush, and I'm a Louisville fan, and I loved watching you return kicks.
You're a man of the people, Derek.
There you go. Universal, but I think it's because a little bit when I talk with people, they really are surprised that you're sitting back there on a punt. And you're kind of looking up in the, up in the air, just waiting for people to just come and destroy you.
Yes.
And I think people can just kind of relate that how much courage that takes, and just kind of, they can say, well, that'd be kind of hard for me to do, sitting back there waiting for somebody to take my head off. But that, I loved it. That's what I lived on. That was my favorite, and unfortunately, that's what I did my best at.
Yeah, you were obviously great at that. Let me ask you, what have you been up to since Kentucky? Are you coaching football? Am I correct?
I've actually done a couple camps.
Okay.
And they're called the Champ Camp. That Champ Kelly used to be a DB for us. He's actually the assistant director of pro personnel with the Broncos.
Uh-huh.
He does a not-for-profit football camp in the summers up in Lexington and one in Florida and one in Denver. And I've just been a part of that. But besides that, I'm doing engineering work for an energy infrastructure company here in Charleston, South Carolina, and I've got a 2.5-year-old daughter. And I'm married.
There you go. Very successful. Everybody around here except for me and Danielle are married, and we're the young bucks, but it's okay. It happens. Obviously, we're 28 days away from the big rivalry game, Kentucky-Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
It's here in the city. When you were a part of the rivalry, how did you partake it? Was it huge for you? Was it one of the bigger games, or was it just another game on the schedule?
It was a big game for us. Absolutely. Obviously, the in-state rivalry with Louisville, and we had some interesting games when I was there with the rain delay that sort of changed the whole momentum. And
yes.
And obviously, when you're in-state, it's just that pride thing. We always had the Tennessee game, which we always happened to be at the other end of until recently, but the Louisville game was probably, of the two, bigger to us.
Any specific memory from any of the games against Louisville that you can, off the top of your head?
Well, unfortunately, one after a game.
Okay.
That one with the thunderstorm, and I was sitting next to Sanders, our kicker, and that was with the missed field goal. And for him, he knew how big of a moment that was,
mm-hmm.
and how long people would remember that, and so. For me, just something that I just kind of I had to put myself in his position and know that it wasn't just one play of the game that got us where we were.
For sure.
And just let him know that, and so that was one thing that stuck out in my mind. I had a punt return down the sideline. I remember that was one of my first ones, and I remember that one in a Louisville rivalry, and those were two things, one good, one bad, that stuck out in my mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Derek, I know that, once again, it is Kelly. I'm a Louisville fan. Going into the UK U of L game on September 2nd this year, Louisville is definitely favored. What are your feelings on that specific game this year, and does Kentucky have a shot in your opinion?
Well, we're at Louisville this year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be a difficult game, but like they always say, rivalry games, you kind of throw that out the window a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've had a very successful career. When I talk to people and try to relay what happens with winners, and unfortunately on the flip side, sometimes if you can't get over the hump and are winners, is they find ways to win. And this program, Kentucky, is a winning program. We had a rough year last year, but overall, when games are close, they can win them. So I feel like that ability puts us in the game with Louisville, and anyone could win. So not only it being a rivalry game, but the fact that the Kentucky program, I know the fans kind of have some grumblings here recently, but they do win games. And those two things, I feel good for Kentucky.
I know that I personally liked how Kentucky stuck with Rich Brooks. They kind of had a couple rough years. They stuck with him. It ended up coming to fruition that it was worth it, and they had some good years there. What do you think Joker Phillips needs to do this season in order to be retained?
Well, you can it's hard. He obviously doesn't have as much time as, say, a new face would, just because being under Brooks' program. I know, I'm one of these people that are a little different than their feelings about. I hear about Mitch Barnhart. I think he is a fantastic AD, not only for football, but in the UK athletics as a whole. And so I put a lot of trust in Mitch and his decisions with Joker. But but what it boils down to, guys, and Danielle, is you got to have W's, and that's just that's life, and that's UK football, and that's college football in general. So so we need to have some wins, I think, and I think Joker understands that too.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm a Joker guy. I've said it over the past couple months being on the show here that regardless, in my opinion, I know wins are the key to success, key to being retained, as Kelly would ask. I would like to see Joker, even if he pulled out 3-4 wins this year, stick around for at least another year because his guys are now getting into the mold. I'm hearing they have SEC speed, SEC size with these guys that are coming in. I'd like to at least have his guys get an opportunity. Derek, before we do let you go, we're kind of getting up here against this break. I wanted to ask you, Kentucky beat Tennessee last year for the first time in years. What are your thoughts? I mean, how excited were you for the program? I mean, I know that's kind of they just owned us for 27 games, I believe.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was so happy. We were so close so many times when I was at Kentucky.
Oh yeah, so many.
Not just Tennessee, but a lot of different games. But I was so happy for them and so happy for Coach Phillips and the program. And there's no qualifying that win. It was a win, a W for UK football, which was so important to us. And I felt I wish I could have been on the field to be a part of it. And I was so happy for us and me and everybody else that has been involved with UK football.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm pretty sure we got a special date coming up during the Western Kentucky game weekend, September 14th and 15th. You were getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, right?
That's right. That's right. And I was I got a call from Mitch Barnhart. It was the first time I ever talked to him on the phone, and so I was kind of wondering why Mitch was calling me. And it was really it was such an honor. I really didn't think my playing days were done. Almost a decade now. And
that's crazy.
To just get a call about this and be a part of such an elite group of people, I was really humbled. And so getting that call was very, very special to me. For
sure. You're going to be joining Leroy Edwards, J.B. Holmes, Jeff Keener. Let's see here. Clayton Moss and Nancy Scranton joining the Hall of Fame. I'm sure you'll be, like you said, you're honored. You can't wait to do that. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't come sooner. I guess maybe it's the 12-year limit to get you in there, right?
I don't know. I was just happy to be part of it, guys.
Yeah,
very happy. For
sure. Well, again, Derek, we appreciate you, getting on with us today. No big problem about yesterday. We appreciate you coming on. We'll get you on down the road again. You're always a great guest.
Absolutely. I owe you. Absolutely. Get me on next time for sure.
Awesome, Derek. You have a great week.
Oh.
You too. Bye, guys.
Good stuff there. What a nice guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
said my name.
Could you have a nicer guy than Derek? I see. I didn't even get to, like I said, put it out there early. I was throwing up on the last interview. I didn't even get to witness how awesome the interview was. Matt, you look like you're about to say something there. No? You got to go to break? Okay, let's do that. We'll get to our break. Get on if you missed the interview with Derek Abney or Farrell Elliott, or if you missed your Mark Blankenbaker cards update, get on iHides.com/KentuckySports. You got the podcast on there, and check us out on 1415sportsbuzz.com. We'll be right back for the final segment of the Weekend Sports Buzz.